Hello everyone, welcome back to another video with K Solutions. In this video, we'll be going over the order of operation to solve mathematical equations. So the first thing to consider when doing the order of operation problems is the order that you must solve the problems in. So in this case, I have it written out, this acronym written out on top to help you remember the order of the operations. So the P is for parentheses, E is exponents, M multiplication, D division, A adding, and S subtracting. So this is the order that you should consider to solve any mathematical equation you come into. So we have our problem written out here. We have -1 times, open bracket, open parentheses, 3 minus 4 times 7, close parentheses, divided by 5, close bracket, minus 2 times 24 divided by 6. So as we can see from this equation, we have two sets of parentheses with the open bracket, with the brackets, and also the inner parentheses. And the reason this is set up this way is so we can distinguish between which one is the innermost parentheses. And so the bracket is your outer layer, and then your actual parentheses is the inner layer. And so that's where you need to start off with first. So you start off with the inner layer of the 3 minus 4 times 7. So let's rewrite our equation to start. We're going to do -1 times, open bracket, open parentheses. So here, now we restart the order of operations. So we're inside of our parentheses, check. We do not have any exponents, but now we need to do multiplication first. So although there's a subtraction sign here that says we need to subtract, we do not do that first. So we bring it down to 3 minus, and then we solve for the 4 times 7. So 4 times 7 is going to give us that 28. Then we're going to close the parentheses, divided by 5, close bracket, and just continue writing out the rest of the equation. Okay. Now we're on to our second step, and we still have parentheses. So again, we go back into that innermost parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite the equation until we get to that point. -1 times, open bracket. So now we look at the 3 minus 28. So that's going to give us a -25. We're going to close that parentheses and finish writing out the rest of the equation. Okay. Now we're on to the next step. So we still have parentheses, and we're inside of our parentheses now. We have the -25 in that innermost, but there's no operation there. So there's nothing to do with that inner parentheses. So now we just can consider the brackets. So let's start there with the -1 times, open bracket. So -25 divided by 5. That's going to give us a -5. So as you can see, from the last step, I kept the parentheses. Now I'm dropping the parentheses, but I'm keeping the brackets. And this way I can bring down my symbols. So here I brought down the -5 with the subtraction sign. I'm going with the 5. And then from above, I kept the -25 to keep that subtraction sign. So that's the reason I keep the parentheses and the brackets, even though there's no operation inside, just so those signs can carry down and there's no confusion. Because here it would have been the -1 times -5 or -5. So you just want to keep those brackets maybe to keep it a little bit cleaner and easier to read. So here I've solved for the bracket, so I'm just going to finish writing out the rest of that equation. Okay. So parentheses, although we do have the bracket, there's no operation there. So let's check. We're done with our parentheses. There's no exponents in our equation. So now we do multiplication. Multiplication. Now, one thing to consider with your order of operation, multiplication and division, one can go before the other. And that is because, and you can do that from left to right. So even if division is first, you can do division first and then multiplication. And that's the exact same thing with adding and subtracting. If subtracting is first and then you have adding later, you can do your subtracting first. They are interchangeable as far as the operations. So you can do one before the other. In this case, luckily, all of our multiplication goes first, so there's no confusion there. So in this case, we have the -1 times the -5. So that's where we're going to solve first. And that's going to give us a +5. So we've solved that part, first operation. And so now we're just going to rewrite the rest of it to bring everything else down. -2 times 24 divided by 6. Okay. Now we have the subtraction as our first operation in the equation. But from the order of operation, we do not do that first. We need to do the multiplication or the division. So in this case, we're going to do it left to right. So multiplication comes up first. So that's what we're going to do first. So we're going to just bring down the 5 and that sign. And then we're going to do 2 times 24. And that's going to give us 48. And then we're going to bring down the 6. All right. Now, again, division is the next operation we need to do before subtracting. So we're just going to bring down the 5 minus 48 divided by 6. It's going to give us 8. So we're almost done. So this is our last operation, the 5 minus 8. And you got it, -3. So this is our answer to this super long equation, -3. Now, if you did this equation in any other order, you may have gotten a different answer. So that's why it's important to do the order of operations to make sure you get the correct answer. So I'm going to circle that answer to make sure we see it. But there you go. Thanks for watching the video.